What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I'm going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to talk about groceries, the price of groceries in Colombia, but I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm actually going to cook a meal. And so I'm basically making breakfast. And I usually will make breakfast when I'm out here, and then I'll go out to eat lunch or dinner. Usually it's one or the other. I don't usually eat 3 meals per day. So just going to show you how and what I make for breakfast. Just a very, very simple video, but I do want to talk a little bit about the cost of groceries and the cost of living, I guess you can say, when it comes to food. So not everything, we're not going to talk about apartments or anything. We're mainly going to talk about the cost of food. And so that's what we're going to do in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter and Threads, you can at the TEC Show Live. And if you'd also like to follow me on my travel adventures in Colombia, you can do that on Instagram at Travel Explore Click. Okay, so let me show you guys first what we are fixing up. So we have eggs and we have some chorizo. I'll show you the brand in a second here. And then we have some bell pepper and onions. So I'm gonna kind of make a scramble here. And then here are the arepas that we'll be eating. And it's the Chocolo brand, or it's not really a brand, it's a style of arepas. They're sweet and these have cheese in them. Now when it comes to the chorizo, this is the brand here, Zenu, and they also make bacon. And then butter, mantequilla. Mantequilla is very, very popular in Colombia. And so if you're in Colombia and you're thinking about what type of butter to get, mantequilla is by far the most popular. And one more thing I want to show you, and this is very popular in Colombia, so you have to turn on the gas. So it's to off right now, and you see it right there, cerrado, abierto. That's what you need to turn it to in order to get the gas to work. And so this is not, in the U.S., generally, we don't have a system like this, but in Colombia, it's very, very common. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. First thing I want to do, I'm going to make the arepas first. Now, you could make these from scratch. I don't make them from scratch. I don't know how to make them from scratch, and so I usually just buy them at the store. So I don't think we have a spatula in here. So I'm probably gonna have to use a spoon. I know that'll look funny, but that's all we have. Yeah, no spatula. One of the things about Airbnbs, some of them are really good when it comes to the utensils and everything, and some of them just aren't. And I'm not gonna be buying spatulas and stuff like that, so we're gonna use this funny looking spoon thing here. And so we'll put a little bit of butter in here, and then we'll get the fire going. Another thing here, usually it's not like an auto start. It might be. Let me try it here. Could be. Oh, it is. Okay, good. So we have an auto start there. Sometimes you have to use a lighter just to get it going. Gas stoves are pretty common in Colombia, but you might also find the electric ones. So I like the gas stoves, but sometimes you can't find them, so you just have to kind of go with what you have. But let's get this butter all over the pan here. Another thing, I generally don't use these non-stick pans. I'll use stainless steel or something, but I don't have that in, so I just have to kind of go with it. All right. So here's the arepa. I'll put 2 in here. And all I'm doing is browning them. They're already cooked in everything, so you're just browning them. And so I'll turn the temperature down a little bit here. Turn the heat down just a tiny bit. Yeah, I don't want to burn them. I just want to put a little color on them, and then we'll do the scramble. So when it comes to groceries in Colombia, I have found that I'm usually spending about $40 to $50 a week. Now, $50 can go a long way, and I can go 2 weeks easily with $50. But you have to understand, especially if you're coming into an Airbnb, I'm spending a month here, and so in most situations I have to buy everything. So there's nothing here. So that's why you're spending a little bit more, because you have to buy butter and all the seasoning that you would get and all that stuff. So just like in the eggs that I have here, I had to buy the pepper, and then I had to buy I like the pepper flakes, and so I had to buy those as well. And so because you're buying all of this stuff, you're spending a little bit more, at least on that first trip. Now, after this, so usually that first trip, I'm probably spending about, it could go up to even $75 in certain situations. So if I come in, I know I'm gonna stay somewhere for a month, then usually I will buy a bunch of stuff. And so I'll probably spend anywhere from $50 to $75. And then from there, then I'm just replacing things. And so usually I'll eat breakfast here. So if I'm out of eggs, then I'll buy more eggs, things like that. So it's usually, it could be $30, it could be $40 from that point every week that I'm paying for groceries. So it's really not that bad. I know in the US, when I go to the grocery store, I'm spending at least $100. I'll say this, I'm spending at least $80 on groceries, and I have stuff at home already, and so I'm just getting the things that I need, and I'm spending that much. So it is, there is a difference in Colombia when it comes to the price of food at groceries mainly. Now, I want to talk a little bit about going out to eat, because I do go out to eat. Like I said, I'll eat breakfast here, and then I'll go out for lunch or dinner, like a late lunch or a dinner. And generally, for two, you're probably spending anywhere from $20 to, on the high end, $35. And that includes everything. We're talking 2 meals, even an appetizer, so an entrada, and as well as drinks, and even alcoholic drinks. The high end, I'll spend $35. And if you really want to go low, you go to some of the mom and pop places, you get the menu of the day, and you can spend, for a menu of the day is like $3 or $4, and you get everything. Okay, so you get the plate, and in certain situations you might get a salad or a soup, and then you'll also get the drink and all that, and it's like $3 or $4. That's the menu of the day. It's something that not a lot of people know, especially people coming from the US. We don't know about the menu of the day. It's not going to be on the menu, and so you have to ask for it. And so when I first came out, not my first trip, but when I came out about 3 years ago, one of my friends, Maya, shout out to Maya Afro Guajira, she turned me on to the whole menu of the day. I had no idea that they had this thing called a menu of the day. So we were going to eat, going out to eat, and every time we go out to eat, the meal was really, really inexpensive. And so finally I asked her, like, what, why are the meals so inexpensive? Because she was doing all the ordering for me. At the time, my Spanish wasn't as good. And so she was telling me, yeah, just order the menu of the day. You order the menu of the day, it's going to be a lot cheaper. It's going to be what they have in abundance. So if they have a lot of chicken and they want to get rid of chicken, then the menu of the day is going to have chicken in it. Or I'm just giving you an example. So that's just something to note. Now, looking at these arepas, they're looking pretty good right now. I don't like to get them really dark, so I'm gonna just kind of turn them over fast here. And you see it has cheese on the inside. You saw the cheese coming out a little bit. And let's grab a plate, and we'll put these on the plate, and then we'll move to the scrambled. And I like to put cheese in my scrambled, like a scrambled eggs. However, the cheese that you buy in the store, if I get shredded cheese, it's fine. I don't have any shredded cheese, so I'm not going to do that. But when you get the sliced cheese, like the Velveeta cheese that they have in the US, I have not been able to find anything comparable to that. And so generally, I don't put cheese in my scrambled eggs unless I have the shredded cheese. And so there's enough cheese here because I have cheese in the arepas, so it should be fine. But you can see the cheese there oozing out of the side. Let's do one more flip on this one, and then I think we'll be ready to go with just putting this on the plate. Yeah, we'll do one more flip and then we'll put it on the plate. And then we will go ahead and move forward with the scrambled eggs. So, looking at the cost of food, like I said, I'm generally, the first trip is about $50 to $75, and that gets everything that I need. And then from that point, then I'll go ahead and go to the grocery store every few days, maybe 3 or 4 days, and I'll just replenish the stuff that I've used up. And generally, that is my routine, and that will get me. Usually, when it comes to Airbnbs, I like to stay for at least 30 days in one place, and that's mainly because I like to be able to just get settled. I don't like to check into a place and then I have to run fast, because I have a whole little studio that I set up for my YouTube channel and all that. And so I want to make sure I don't be wasting a lot of time setting up, taking down, setting up again. And so that's why I like to have at least a month in one place. And so last year, actually, so far I've been here for about a week, and I'll be here for another couple of weeks, and they didn't have the space, so I'm gonna have to probably go to another apartment. I'm not gonna be able to stay here. Okay, so first thing we have here is chorizo. We'll go ahead and put that in. And then I'm gonna cook that down just a little bit. I like to just brown it. I don't like it. I mean, it's already cooked, but I just like to brown it a little bit. And then we'll put the onions and the bell peppers. And then lastly, we'll put the eggs. So, looks pretty good so far. Everything's coming together. So, my trip this time, I'll probably be here for at least 2 months. And last year I was in Colombia total last year for 5 months. And so I spend the way I'm doing things right now is I'm out of the country for about 6 months out of the year. And then I'll go back to the US, go back home and get everything in order, and then look for my next destination. So that's basically what I'm doing right now. Now, why am I doing this? I just want to explore. I want to see the world, and this is a good way to do it. It can get expensive. These Airbnbs now, especially I'm in Medellin, Colombia, they get they're very expensive right now. It's really sad because I've been coming to Colombia for years. Over 2009 was my first trip to Colombia, and obviously in 2009 it was a lot less, and I would say even 5 years ago it was a lot less. But now, I mean, these prices are comparable to some major cities in the U.S., and that's just for Airbnbs. Now, understand, if you're not in an Airbnb, if you have connections, you know people, then you can do it for a lot less. I would say anywhere from, let's say you're paying $1,100 for 30 days in an apartment in Medellin on Airbnb, you could probably get that same apartment for $350 to $400 if you know someone. But it takes the time. You have to know these people. You have to, in some situations, you have to go through a realtor, and so it's just not feasible for most people. So I'll go ahead and put the onions in here. So it's one of those situations where I know I'm paying too much, but I just have to kind of grin and bear it because I don't have those connections. I don't know a lot of people in Medellin, Colombia. I'll talk about, but even in Cartagena, I was in Cartagena for about 10 days. There are a lot of tourists in Cartagena, and so the prices have gone up there as well. There's only one real area that you want to stay in if you're in Cartagena, and that's the Boca Grande area. And it's right by the water, right by the beach and the bay. It's really nice. It's a nice place, but you're paying like $100 a night to stay in some of the high rises there, and so it does get expensive. All right, let's turn this fire up just a little bit here. All right, so we're just going to cook down the onions and the bell peppers, and then we'll go ahead and add the eggs. Now the eggs, this is always interesting because you guys can see, I don't know if you guys can see this far over, but I'll show you. The eggs, you don't refrigerate the eggs. They're just right here on the counter. And that is because they don't wash the eggs like we do in the US. And there's a membrane that is on the egg. And if you wash the membrane off, then you have to put it in the refrigerator. And so because they don't wash the eggs out here, you don't have to refrigerate them. And so you just keep them out on the counter. And it's kind of weird when you go into grocery stores because you see the eggs and they're just on an aisle. Like you have cereal and then you have the eggs right next to it. So it's kind of a weird thing because we're always used to having eggs in the refrigerator, but you don't need to. It's not, the eggs will be fine as long as you don't wash them like we do in the US. Okay, let's go ahead and basically the membrane is what's protecting the egg from any type of diseases or anything like that. Okay, let's go ahead and add the eggs. And so I just put pepper in there and pepper flakes. I didn't put any salt. I don't usually put a lot of salt in my food, and there's salt in the chorizo, so that should be enough. I don't need any extra salt. So we'll go ahead and scramble this up, and then we will be ready to eat. So one of the main reasons I'm doing this video is because I do have people asking me about living abroad, which I'm not living abroad full time, but part of the year I'm in another country, and so people have asked me about the cost of things, the cost of an apartment, or the cost of just food and utilities and all that. And so I decided, hey, you know, I pretty much cook every morning, so let's do a video where I'm cooking and I'm just showing you guys how much I spend on groceries and what I eat. And so you see here, I just have 2 eggs in here. I have some chorizo and onions and bell peppers, and that is all. Now, like I said, I usually like to put cheese on this, but I don't have any shredded cheese. I'm gonna have to go back to the store and get some, so I'm not gonna put that on these eggs. But this is generally it. Mix it up just a little bit more. I like my eggs cooked well. I don't like them runny at all. And then another thing is I always like to put avocado. And look at this avocado. This is like 60 cents. It's crazy how inexpensive it is. But it is not good yet. So I'm not going to be able to put that avocado on there. All right, let's go ahead. We can go ahead and plate this up. This looks pretty good. Okay, so here it is. We have scrambled eggs and some arepas. So we're gonna eat this. We'll actually taste it right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish it up. Now, if you guys have any questions about Colombia, right now I'm in Medellin, Colombia, just let me know. Just let me know in the comments below, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But this is an opportunity, and I always tell people this, especially people who are retired and they might be struggling in the US. They don't get enough in their retirement, they don't get enough in Social Security, and they're thinking about, what are my options? This is a good option. There are a lot of people, a lot of expats that are living in Colombia, living in the Philippines, in Thailand, all over the world, and they're doing it. Their budget's like $1,200 a month, and they're able to make it work. And like I was talking about, when it comes to Airbnbs, yeah, you don't want to go the Airbnb route, but if you're here for any period of time, then you can start looking at realtors and start getting to know different people, and you can rent from a private owner, and it'll be a lot less. So it's not going to be Airbnb prices. Okay, let's taste the eggs. Very good. I like this chorizo. I don't like a lot of chorizo, but I do like this. And so the brand again was Zinu. So let's taste an arepa as well. Right after I take another bite of the scrambled egg. Here's the arepa. Very good. And so this is breakfast. Usually this is what I'm eating for breakfast. And I don't eat breakfast here every day, but I would say at least 3 to 4 times a week I'm eating breakfast, and then we'll go do something, and we'll go out to lunch or go out to dinner or something like that. So if you guys have any other questions, like I said, let me know down below. If you like this video, if you like videos like this, I want to do something a little bit different because I'm always sitting in front of a camera, but I wanted to do something a little more different, a little more active. I know I've been walking and shooting videos doing that as well, but I think this is just a different side. You can see me actually cooking and doing things like that. And yes, I do know how to cook. Okay, if you guys have questions, post them down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.